was gonna sign her up this week.
Oh, okay.
You mean you want me to cry a little bit?
Did I say for somebody?
You?
Steve was gonna come, but,
What's the deal?
he's gone to he's in the camera club, showing up at the elementary tonight.
Oh, how nice.
So he's going to something pleasant.
So there's such few people here right now, so we'll all get ice cream when we get done, right?
Steve still uses film.
You know what, Jimmy, I hate to tell you, but he totally shoots and I have to tell him. There's some windows for just, yeah, 22.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't be doing that.
You have always in the past.
You can always say no.
Happy to take a photo.
We got one of those
Salty sticks.
no, that's a salty stick, because this is some of them that close. You use it when you're skiing down a hill. Yes. You know what? I think it is.
Well, he could practice this winter when him and you ski down the slope of the Mchenry Township.
He could probably mount it on his kayak and then.
Everybody have those things out. Our age, it's so much easier to do that.
And there's no hot breaks either, right?
You have that, we've got some parks on these
Pretty deep out there.
we don't go all the way to Fox.
This one is attendance,
Actually, we
and
just.
that one's if you want to speak.
Spring Road.
Hi, Judy.
But Judy can't come, she's got really structural.
That's not the way to start the fall season. What's wrong?
No, I know. Are you gonna speak, listen?
I know what,
Are you gonna speak?
You're only about the fourth person that has asked her.
I don't know, I've done it so many times that, I know, but it's like more, it's questions, not just,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. Do everybody ask questions or not? That's what I mean. I know.
That's a comforting thought.
Oh, yeah, take up it. My husband said, just don't tell me.
Did you send it to Steve? Sure. We get them told, they say it's a request from home, and they do their requirements.
She's trying to get out of it. Just like you know.
I think one of them is
Say what?
I don't know.
Who signed their name? You better find out.
Quit telling me what to do.
You're not doing it.
Well, then don't ask me.
You're not doing anything, right?
I didn't have to sign it, those were just,
Did you correct those minutes yet?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, Dan.
There wasn't much to correct, 3 words.
No, I'm talking about the other minutes you screwed up with. Who voted and who was there. Oh, there. Do you know what you're doing? Yes. Well, I will try.
Thank you.
There's a rack on the wall there.
Okay, I have an hour 6 o'clock, if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Supervisor Adams,
Present.
trustees Anderson,
Here.
Redstraw, Wojcicki,
Here.
Beer,
Present.
all present, all accounted.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on. First order of our agenda is public comment. I have a list here in front of me. First name I have on this list is Judy Walsh-Smith.
Good evening, I'm Judy Walsh-Smith, and I live in Mchenry, Illinois. And I have many thoughts on this. I think it's a crime what you gentlemen are doing, and I'd like to ask you, why are you so against this when people are in such need of it? Would you answer that question? Why are you voting against it? Why, don't you have anything in your heart that these people need it? You might need it someday. I'm a volunteer at the food pantry, and when I see the need of the people that come in and take the bus, it just doesn't make any sense. You vote no, but what is your really reason? It's paid for, the money is there. If you let the buses set, I'm not a mechanic, but it's not going to be good for them. They should be run at least a couple times a week. So would you please answer the question, why are you so against it when everybody is for it?
Because it's a duplication of services.
It's not.
Okay,
No, it's not.
Okay. Audience, please. Mr. Bird decided to answer, but there'll be no comments from the audience.
What about Mr. Anderson?
Public comment is public comment. I do not get in a date with public comment. People that give public comment.
Please stay quiet.
I mean, we're not, we're all in this together. We want to help each other out. And, I think there's just such a lack of common sense with our board here. I mean, I don't know if you think that you're getting all this power. You're here to help us. We should be able to work together. And I'm sure that if you will have a change of heart, the people will have a change of heart for you and realize, that you can do some good, that you're on the board and you are helping. God help us all because we need this. Thank you.
Sarah Dringenberg? Dringenberg? Sorry, Sarah.
Sorry. I am Sarah Greenberg. I'm from Mchenry. I am not the best at public speaking. It's not my strong suit. I'm a new face to English all of you. So I wrote out what I wanted to say, and I'm going to read it from that, right? So I wish I could understand your decision on this. I wish that I could get inside of your minds and get your perspective. I wish I could believe that this was truly a selfless act that would save us all money. But when every single person I've talked to about this has said that they would gladly pay 10 times what they're paying now, it is very hard to believe. What this is about is manipulation. It's about forcing our hands. It's about stripping the township of everything good it has to offer and making it pointless so we have no choice to vote in the way you want us to. I know that everything I have to say has been said to you at least 1,000 times before, tearfully, by people who this decision affects more directly than me. And you stay strong in your stance, that you're doing this for us. Hiding behind your heroism. I can sit here and cry for 3 minutes about the lives it's changed, but you need to care about lives for that to affect you. I don't know how to explain to another human being why we should care about one another. I don't know how to teach empathy to a table full of grown men. So what I'm going to say is this. If any of the hundreds of people who rely on the bus system for dialysis, doctor's appointments, paychecks, groceries, if any of them die because of this decision, it was going to be on your hands. Thank you.
Jamie Rouse? I'll get it right one of these times, Jamie.
Like I said before, you'll have plenty of practice.
Jamie Rouse, Mchenry. Sarah, that was really good. You did a good job. I'm so proud of you. Good evening. Well, here we are again. Could you trustees up here not wait till next week to see me? No, seriously. Why could you not wait until next week? What is so important that it could not wait 6 days? What is so important that you had to keep township employees late on a Friday? What is so important that you expect your constituents to drop plans on a Friday night if they wanted to take part in their local government? And what is so unbelievably important that you had to cost the township an additional, $1,500 to have another special meeting? You sit up here and spew falsehoods to those in attendance. You pepper social media with your falsehoods. You tell us these actions in consolidation and elimination of the townships, their services, the associated road districts, is some kind of tax revolt. You want to help us lower our property taxes. Even you know that is a lie. You only want to eliminate the taxing body. So what we have here is a different political policy on how to govern. I too actually believe that we need less government, or maybe just more oversight to clean up what we have. I too see the news about the stories about government waste, and it makes me mad. However, I will not cut off my nose to spite my face. I also believe in democracy and the democratic system we have here in the United States of America. Do you? Because if you did, the fact that in a vote of 270 to 0 of township electors, your constituents, asking you to reconsider your vote to eliminate the senior bus service would not have been called, and I quote, a cheap political stunt. You know what is a cheap political stunt? Not coming to that meeting. You know what tonight is? It's another political stunt, only not so cheap. Please, go get another hobby. Please stop screwing with our township. It's getting old. Thank you.
Okay, Julie Ann Thomas.
Hi, Julian Thomas, Wonder Lake. A lot of you guys know my story, and forgive me if I get emotional, but I got some very bad news about my health. But I would like to tell you about my last 3 PACE trips, because people need to hear exactly what happens when you ride the PACE bus. August 24th, I had made arrangements to do some running around. PACE bus was supposed to be there at 10:39 a.m. to pick me up. I was outside waiting. They called me at 10:56 and told me, oh, the bus will be there about 11. They showed up at 11:13. I got on the bus in Wonder Lake at 11:13, needing to go to Mchenry, but first I went to Woodstock to pick somebody up. And by the time I got back to Mchenry, to Angelo's where I needed to go, it was 12:47 p.m. Okay, so I finished my shopping at 1:30, and they told me my scheduled pickup was until 2:43, which actually was 3:03. And I got home at 4:12 because guess what? They picked up that girl and took her back to Woodstock before they took me home, even though they passed my house twice. Okay, that was August 24th. August 30th, I took the township bus to my PT appointment here at Mercy Mchenry. But because I had fallen 6 times at the beginning of the week, they insisted that I see the immediate care doctor instead of seeing them. So I called PACE to find out if someone could come and take me across the street. PACE told me it would be me an hour to 2 hours to get a bus just to take me across the street. So I walked. And after being at the hospital a couple hours, I called Pace. Pace told me there was no way to get me home. Now, this is Mchenry Hospital. All right. My son was at work. My phone died. I had no way to get in touch with anybody. So I started to walk home. I walked through the parking lot and down Bull Valley, almost to Crystal Lake, before someone stopped and offered me a ride. Because Pete said, no buses to help you. So today, I needed to go have a brain CT and see my neurologist. I set up this appointment last week on Friday. They were supposed to be at my house at 7 a.m. for 8:15 tests. They called me at 7 a.m. and told me hopefully we'll be here by 8. Now I live in Wonder Lake and I needed to be at Woodstock Mercy for these tests and to see the doctor. They were nice enough to show up at 7:48 a.m. and I got there at 8:14 a.m. I got very, very bad news today at the doctor's office. My pick-up time coming home was 11 a.m., which actually turned out to be 11:26 a.m. And by the time I finally got home after all their other rides, it was 12:47 p.m. Now I realize that 3 of our trustees have no human compassion. But, as Sarah said, I need this bus because today I got 3 new doctors that I have to see, and all of them fall into Mchenry Township. So I can ride that bus to go see those 3 doctors. But, realizing that they don't care about anybody but themselves, I have decided that I don't care how much pain I am in, and as long as I can, I will still fight this battle. I will walk parade lines, sign petitions, do whatever I need to do.
Okay,
One last
please
thing.
finish up.
Just remember what they say about karma.
Mike Toller is next.
Mike Toller, Wonder Lake. Did you enjoy your nap there, Mr. Beer? I saw you close your eyes and then you exaggerated.
These personal attacks are not part of anything.
Actually, you cannot stop me
Mr.
from
Mayor,
doing that.
he say every public comment, he asked you a question, I don't consider it a public attack.
No, I wasn't napping.
Looked a lot like it, not exaggerated after you got done. But anyways, so I saw in the newspaper today, or was it yesterday? There was an interview with Mr. Anderson where he was talking about this, what you guys are trying to do here with the budget and put money into a lockbox. So I went and I looked at the township code, and I don't see anything about a lockbox anywhere in there. Well, nothing allowed, at least. But you know what I did find? In section 85-13, subsection A, the township board may either expend funds directly or may enter into a cooperative agreement or contract with any other government entity or nonprofit corporation, nonprofit community service association, or any for-profit business entity as provided in this subsection. With respect to the expenditure of town funds or funds made available to the township under the Federal, State, and Local Fiscal Assistance Act of 1972 to provide any of the following services to the residents of the township. 1. Ordinary and necessary maintenance and operating expenses of the following. A. Public safety, including law enforcement, fire protection, and building code enforcement. B. Environmental protection, including sewage disposal, sanitation, pollution abatement. C. Public transportation, including transit systems, paratransit systems, and streets and roads. So, I know I've heard it said before that this is not one of the duties of the township to operate this bus service, but there it is, right out of the code. This is one of the duties that we are allowed to do as a township. So, we have a system that costs a little under $8 a year per property that we're trying to save. And you're doing everything you can to step in the way of these people, of us, who are the people that you answer to as elected officials. We are your bosses. So you are doing everything you can to step in the way of the duties of the township. How do you continue to do this? How can you not see that there is a huge, huge uproar, almost a groundswell? If your intention was to unite the community against you, congratulations, you've done it. Have a good one.
Okay, that's all I have on my list. Is there anybody else before we move on to the meeting here? Okay, seeing nobody else, who's on the agenda? A new business, amending the Mchenry Township budget and discussion.
I have a motion, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make.
Go right ahead, sir.
Mr. Chairman, use the topic now. I move to remove the senior bus program funding of $303,343 from the 2019-2020 Mchenry Township budget, minus the operational cost to fund the senior bus program until November 30th, 2019, with remaining funds set aside in a lockbox for a future tax abatement distributed to Mchenry Township taxpayers, and that a budget hearing be held at 6:30 p.m. on October 10, 2019, to amend the 2019-2020 Mchenry Township budget for the purpose so mentioned.
Is there a second to Mr. Anderson's motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Brewer. We can have discussion on this motion. We can't take any action because it's not on the agenda, because it wasn't asked for in the document that you gave me. So we can discuss it. Any discussion?
What's this town budget handout that's been provided?
Can't hear.
Mr. Brewer is asking what's handed out. That is the senior budget that you passed that I believe Mr. Anderson is asking to amend. That's why I have to pass it out.
Who's prepared this piece of paper? You?
I prepared it, and you all signed the budget that this is attached to.
Wrong.
Okay.
Where's the insurance for the senior bus service?
Mr. Baird, I have your signature on the document.
Where is the insurance for the senior bus program on this page?
It may not be on the page.
Okay, well then you don't have all the costs, do you?
Mr. Veer, it's included in the Torma insurance. There's a different page when you asked me to break it out, then I gave it to you. This is the budget that we approved, all of us, and passed. That's why I passed it out.
We always have the ability to amend the budget, and I hope Mr. Militello confirms that to you.
You do have the ability to amend the budget, but you cannot do it tonight. It has to be published. We have to, for 30 days for the public to examine it, and then we have to have a public budget hearing.
And that's part of my motion.
That is your motion, but we can't vote on this motion. There's no action on the agenda tonight. If this board would like, I would be happy to add it to Thursday's meeting next week.
That would be my request.
That's your request. I'm all in favor of that.
And I'll also add to some of the discussion here, if I could.
Sure.
Okay. The Mchenry Township Board, a couple thoughts I put down before this meeting. The Mchenry Township Board, the June meeting voted to eliminate the township bus program, a program that is not a township mandated duty. We did it for tax savings. Now it appears that you, Supervisor Adams, you like to do an end around that vote by taking funds of the general fund to continue funding the bus program. Government's not run by those, government is run by those elected office, not by mob rule. We like witnesses.
Be quiet, audience, be quiet.
Witness here so many times here, where township supervisors voted on the losing side. For clarification, at the last township election, I received 3,124 votes. There were 12 people that ran. I received the most votes. Mike Rakestraw, he ran in that election. Mike received 2,927,000 votes. We were elected by the people to change things that were going on in this township. When I came in here, it was no secret of my position or what I thought about township government. The people voted me into office. I'm not about here to roll back and change just because of all these comments.
Are you finished, Mr. I just want to comment on that. You accused me of moving money. I can't move any money without this board's permission or without a special annual township meeting, the voters' permission. It's not up to me. It's up to the majority.
Well, please explain this. That was in the paper, that was published, a special annual town meeting that's upcoming. And it says, transfer the Mchenry Township general funds for the benefit of senior citizens of Mchenry Township. What does that mean?
That means exactly what you think it means. I had 200 signatures from electors of the township who asked for a special annual township meeting, and that's what that's for. And if they choose to move money from anywhere in the budget, they have the authority to do that. Then we have to abide by that authority.
So they can move it to what? Why wouldn't it say, is it supposed to be for the bus service, or is that an error of not putting it in there? Why is it eliminated?
They can move it to anywhere they want for any purpose they want, basically.
Stan, did you know anything about this as a trustee?
Just what I read in the paper.
Why was a trustee have to read this up in the paper and not hear about this?
Because it's not a trustee matter, it's a general election. The people presented a petition. They just presented it. We didn't have another meeting. We verified the petition, the clerk did, along with the county clerk's office. They had enough signatures, so we posted the meeting. It's that simple. And you found out about it just as most of the public probably found out about it.
I don't think it's that simple. I think that the trustees should be a little bit up to speed of how this is moving.
Mr. Anderson, you have no more authority in an annual township meeting or a special annual township meeting. You have the same authority as the electors in our audience. And that's the same. I didn't call the electors to tell them what's going on, so why would I call you, Edward?
Why do we have a board if we can have a group of people get together and
That's a very good question, Mr. Rice, and I'll be happy to answer that. Our forefathers knew that sometimes government could go amok, so they gave township government the power of the people to let them make certain decisions if they didn't like what the board decisions were. And that's the township code. That's why the township is closest to the people. I can't help it. That's the way the law is written. Okay.
Mr. Militello, can you give us your legal
Can you
opinion?
please speak in the microphone so it can be recorded?
Test.
Anybody? Here.
Hello? Okay. I got the agenda for the electors' special annual meeting with the rest of the board. I also actually pulled up today for the first time the site for the 60 ILCS 1/220-15, so I do have a copy of it now. So I haven't had a chance to go through it. But regarding the township board and electors, there are two separate things. The township board handles the activity, the supervisor handles the day-to-day, but electors have powers that are enumerated within Article 30. Article 30 sets out all these very specific things in which a group of electors can take action on. There's some things they can do, and there's some things they can't. I haven't looked at 220-15 if this is specifically something that the electors can do or not do, but again, it's specific as to what they can do and they can't do. They can't just do everything that the board does, number one. Number two, Mr. Bear is right that the budget and appropriation ordinance, there is a process for it, it's within the budget law, and I do want to make a comment on that, is because the process for adopting an amended budget is the same as adopting the regular budget.
So the board, and it's specific as to the township, it's the same process for other units of government, but the code is actually spelled out a little specific for the township, saying the township board approves this, and then it's then given to the clerk then makes it public, and then public hearing, and you have the final. So that would be the process. The one piece, and I do caution the board though, just kind of looking at this motion here, because you have the budget and appropriation in this section, but the part about setting the money in the lockbox in the future for future tax payment, my only concern, and I just would ask the board, maybe let's take a peek at this, and that's regarding the use of township funds and issues. One of the things that the townships have, as well as any other unit of government that has been inundated with the last, I would say 3 to 4 years, has been accumulation issues, meaning where they've taxed and they've accumulated monies and had it in their account, and they've had these excess funds, and it's been the subject of lawsuits throughout the county and of the state of Illinois for that matter. But part of that issue was having these funds when the township or any other units of government didn't really need to do it. So one of the processes in levying, before you levy, is making sure that the budget and appropriation ordinance accounts for the money that we have. My only concern would be that if there is monies that are then not being accounted for, and in this case put in a lockbox, and we're not putting it towards something, one of the sections, and I cite, is that 23-5 regarding accumulating monies for a dedicated to special purpose. It can only be for capital construction or maintenance projects or major equipment purchases. So my concern would be that it may be an accumulation issue again if we don't have it designated for something specific. Another option, and I'm just exploring, it's just sharing with the board, is that it's always at the time of the levying process. So if there are funds that are left over, let's say you don't spend all the money in your budget and appropriation ordinance, those are monies that are then held over for next year. So what does that mean? Does that mean you have to then levy the same amount you did last year? Absolutely not. You could actually lower your levy based on those amounts, to accommodate that. But that's the piece as far as the analysis.
So, John, unless there's any more discussion.
Yes, I'm in that. So then, Mr. Militello, what you're saying is that the motion I made would be problematic to have the lockbox in it. And that to distribute that or deal with that would be at the next levying process.
If there's additional monies that the county.
Microphone.
If for example, let's say there's $50,000 that you would want to put into this lockbox. So, or whatever the numbers. And you want to put in a lockbox, keeping you either want to do one or two things. You either continue to keep the budget and appropriation the way it is, or you reduce or change something in your budget and appropriation, but you identify something else of that same value that you would have otherwise spent on some capital improvement project or something that the township needs in order to take care of it, so that that money is then accounted for. If you then say, well, you know what, we didn't spend the $50,000, and then we have this $50,000 extra. So what does that mean? That means next year, at least in this year, when it comes to the 2019 levy, you don't technically have to levy as much, and you could levy $50,000 less, if that makes sense. So whatever the amount that you were going to put in the lockbox, you could levy that amount less.
Okay, so then, if I made this motion, now this will be on the agenda next week for action, correct?
What I'd like to put on the agenda is amending the Mchenry Township budget, discussion and action, and leave it at that. And you can make whatever motion you want at that time, and then we can act on it. Okay.
And so, to clarify that, I'm not going to put the lockbox, I'll come with a motion. Okay, but if there's support in this board to amend the budget for that $303,000, that money will stay within the township until it's dealt with at the next levy?
It would go to reserve fund, isn't it?
Reserve
Yeah.
to the next. Okay, does that give you the authority, if it's in reserve, to go ahead and finance the bus service? Do you have that kind of power?
I do not have that authority, no.
Okay. Okay.
But the voters may. The electors may.
So I have no further questions unless anybody else.
I'm sorry, no, I didn't.
I have no further questions.
Oh, no further questions.
Or comments, I'll save them, I'll come with a motion
I don't have any further
next week.
comments or questions. Anybody else?
Wouldn't it be easier to spend that money and extend the bus service till April, when we get that referendum, and then listen to what the referendum says? And Mr. Adams already said that he'll abide by that referendum, and I'll make that same promise. Why not just spend that money? It's there, extend the bus service till April, and listen to what the people say on this referendum.
That can be that is an advisory referendum, the board does not have to take action on that.
They do not, but
if
when you listen to all the voters in the township, that's what's happening.
It's advisory, but Supervisor Adams making a promise, I'm making a promise. So that makes it not advisory. That means it would, it's going to have teeth.
If the voters voted not to have the bus service overall, majority, I would stick by the direction.
That's your choice. That's your choice, and the same choice of the trustee, Stan Wojcicki. That's his comment.
Okay, that's your comment, Stan, I guess, so I go ahead.
And also, I have to mention that for next Thursday's meeting, it's the bus issue is back on the ballot, I believe. We're going to take another vote on it.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, this is amending the budget.
Yeah, but
This is amending the budget.
No, I asked at the last meeting for another vote.
Can you please
on the bus
explain
service?
That is not allowed, Mr. Militone?
I can explain that. Only people that voted in opposition to the original question can call it back to the table. So Stan, you and I cannot.
We cannot bring it back.
We cannot bring it back. It would have to come from one of the trustees.
You can get it on, ask you to put it on the agenda.
I just learned something new.
I learned it.
You cannot make a motion.
I didn't know that either. I learned it myself, so it will not be on the agenda.
Okay.
Mr. Adams, I have some questions for you.
Certainly, Mr. Bird.
One, have you entered into any?
microphone,
Use a
please.
The battery is dead.
No, you
okay?
don't have it. Here, Steve, take this microphone.
Do the right thing.
Have you entered into any new contracts regarding the bus service?
I have not, per your instructions as the board.
And what about the applications for grants?
I have Mr. Miltello notified the granting agencies that we were not going to take any future grants, and I have also notified them the same.
Are there any deadlines for those grant applications?
They've all passed, so I can't apply next year for those grants.
When did they pass?
The county, well, I should say that the application process is passed and I did not apply.
Well, there are two grants, right?
There's two grants, the county grant, which has not been awarded yet, but we are not applying, and they're very aware of it. I made them aware of it. And there's a federal grant. I made them aware that we're not applying also.
Have proper notifications been made to the employees of the township that are involved with the senior express program?
Proper notifications will be made when the time comes. It's not necessary at this point in time, in my opinion, as the administrator of the township. I only have to give them a 30-day notice if I choose to.
Well, how much notice do they have to give the township if they leave?
2 weeks probably. So I would only have to do the same.
Will you have a complete accounting of how much money has been spent on the bus service for the 2019-20 budget as of the date of the next meeting?
As close as I can, Steve, it's in your board packet. It shows what was budgeted and what was spent.
Yeah, well, I'm asking you if you will try to update that.
I can't, Steve. It's as close as you can get. That's what all the books have. It will be very, very close, put it that way. But what would that matter? I can't tell you what's going to be spent by November 30th because I don't know exactly. I could give you an estimate.
Do you have any results from this survey you're taking about people that cannot use the McBride program?
And what survey? I'm not taking a survey.
Well, I thought instructions were given to the drivers. One of them said that in public comment, that they're now asking people if they can, if they need this driveway service.
I am totally unaware of that, Mr. Vernon. If that is going on, it should not be, and I will correct them not to do that. To my knowledge, that is not happening.
Well, I brought this up many times in our budget meetings. All right. So far from being not empathetic, I asked you how many people that are taken by the township, Senior Express, for whatever reason, cannot use the McBride program. Okay, I mean, it's kind of a simple question, which the drivers should know because they're doing it every day.
If you would like a number, I can go to the drivers and my records to find out what people are in wheelchairs that couldn't get to the curb and give you that answer. I don't have it off the top of my head. Don't get me wrong though, they could use the McBride service if they could get to the curb, so.
Right, so my question
What is your question?
How many people? Because we're only talking about 150 riders a year, right?
We're up to 200 now, Steve.
Oh, okay. And
Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to get that number and bring it to Thursday's meeting for you as close as I can come up with it. But why is it going to matter?
well, it may matter because of the alternative program that we could have.
And what would that alternative program be?
Pretty much what Nunda Township has.
Nunda Township only has a little van that runs around, and it's not.
For the people that cannot use the McBride.
I can't comment on Nunda Township's program. I'll ask the supervisor from Nunda Township to attend our next meeting if he's available.
Look, you're in charge of this thing, okay? It's up to you to come up with proposals.
Mr. Beard, you and this board wanted to get rid of the service. You passed the budget with the buffer sitting there.
Then you took the bus
service after the fact. So don't tell me what to come up with.
Don't give this haughty, crying Jack now.
Oh, Mr. Beard, you're trying to stir the sentences up.
You were asked to come up with alternative.
I was never asked to come up with alternative solutions in the budgets, wasn't it, Stan?
Not to the budget, to the problem of people that cannot use.
No, I never was. Who asked me?
I did 3 times, and it's on the record.
Well, I'd like to see the record then, because I don't have
Look
it.
at the budget proposal.
After you took the bus, right?
Let's put all that under the bridge now. Can you do it?
Can I, what, come up with an alternative?
Come up with alternative proposals.
Sure I can.
Okay.
Well, if that's what you'd like me to do, never asked me to do it, to my knowledge.
Well, some of this stuff takes a little initiative.
Mr. Mayor, I consider that just downright terrible. You know, that was a terrible comment.
Why? Because you're in charge of a program, you don't know what's going on?
What do you mean? Mr. Mayor, first of all,
You had a driver here in public comment say that.
Mr. Mayor, you're out of order.
I see what
What you're asking me for, we're done.
I don't think he has the authority to do that. Sure knows. You're out of order. He can't sign.
You're out of
He can't throw us out. He has no authority to do that.
I consider your comments out of order.
I consider many of the comments that you've made over the last 5 months out of order.
Well, I'm moving on. The done conversation stage. You're just going in a circle. I'm done. Any other comments from this board?
I'm not done.
Okay, Mr. Anderson.
I got one more question. I have one more question. The motion I want to make for the next meeting. Jim, that would be, does my motion have to include to have a budget hearing, the date on that? Or do I just make?
No.
I don't have to.
No.
My top motion.
No.
You just Jenny will take care of that and then we'll move forward.
As the supervisor indicated, you're going to want to add something, and then there's just a discussion and action, and to amend that budget.
Okay.
if that's the case. As far as the next step would be the remaining steps that are within the budget act.
And so then, part of it comes,
Which
doesn't have to
then,
be motion.
then you give it to the clerk would then, you'd have to identify a date, and you give the clerk the.
Do I have to come up with that? The date?
You may not know what that is until you have your meeting, have discussions.
It's 30 days, right?
Well, no, I have to post it in the paper, and I mean, it might be 35 days by the time it gets posted.
At least 30 days.
Thank you.
So you have to not only publish the paper, but you also have to post it.
Right, I got, okay, thank you.
Are there any more comments at this time from the board?
Yes, I'd like to get a legal opinion from Mr. Militello about whether 200 people can get together and change the direction of the board and the ramifications that would happen if they were able to do that.
That's a pretty broad question. I'm not sure how to answer that. I can tell you this, that the power of the electors, again, is specific within the township code, that section 30, that article 30 I was talking to you about. So I don't know. I mean, it depends on what the issue is. If the issue is buses, then we have to look at whether or not there's any specific authority within the township code that gives electors that authority. Question. It depends on what the powers and actions the board took relative to the powers and actions that the electors are taking. And you'd have to look at that. There is case law relative to differences where you have one authority and somebody has another authority. So it depends. That's the best answer I can give. Until you say to me, Jim, this is the statute that we have an issue with, or this is what the electors are looking to do. And quite honestly, when I look at and it was just brief reading, and if your question is specific as to this upcoming electors meeting?
What I'm talking about is, can a group of people, 200 people, get together and override a board by doing that?
The electors don't have veto authority over your board's decision on an issue, number one. Number two, it depends on the action that the electors are taking relative to whatever they're doing. I don't know, as far as, again, when I look at the 6220-15, just a cursory look, there was a lot of things in there, but it may or may not apply. It depends on what they're doing, and that I don't know.
Can you find precedent for somebody having a special meeting and venting what a board decision was?
Use the microphone.
Microphone, please.
It depends on, yeah.
I'm just looking for history, so that you can come in and say, well, this happened at such and such time, this one happened at such and such time in such and such place, and the override was held legal, or not.
Again, it's not a veto, there is no vetoing, the electors don't have veto authority over a board's decision.
So this has really no.
Let's be clear. They don't have the electors don't have veto authority over a board's decision. However, the electors do have specific authority. It depends on what they're doing, and I'm not sure what that is. And so it's very limited, as this board has seen before. There's been actions that have been taken, and sometimes those actions are outside that power. And if it's outside that power, then it's void. So it's a fact question. What is actually being done relative to that power? And I can't make a broad statement against it because it may be outside that power. Does that make sense?
Yes or no?
I'll be more than happy. I mean, what part of it is not?
I'd like to see some precedent in the state of Illinois where electors got together, made a decision, and overrode the board's decision. That's what I'd like to see.
There was a case that I believe it was in the town of Grafton, Township of Grafton, relative to some building and some authority at some time, and this was many years ago, relative to building of a building. And there was authority for the electors, and there was authority for the board, and there was issue as far as who had what authority. And I think some of that discussions was shared as far as our last litigation that we had, and I think I shared some of that authority with you at that time. I'll be more than happy to circulate that with you again, but that is one of the most recent cases, Is it that reason that comes to mind?
Can I speak to this issue? Mike, and correct me wrong, Mr. Mattel, if I'm wrong here, but this is, Craig Adams, the supervisor, he brought up about this, about the annual meeting and this closest form of government, how great it is. However, you're using the number 200, but if there was 3 people that went to that annual meeting and voting on this, they could push this through.
There has to be at least 15 people attending that meeting.
15, oh, because they signed it for 15.
No, because that's what the law says.
15, so 15 people can do it, not 200, is that correct?
There's a certain amount that requires.
It doesn't have to be 200, it could be a very small number that can actually overrule a board.
So this is relative to the annual meeting or special meeting. There's a certain requirements as far as how many signatures you need in order to get it. And then there's so many people you physically need to be at that meeting in order to have it.
And what is that number?
I believe it's 15.
15? So in other words, 15 people can override an elected board.
I'm not so sure it's saying override. The 15 people could make a decision at that election.
To make something.
Whatever that is, and I can't tell you whether it's valid or not valid. Some of that stuff.
I wasn't thinking, I didn't know it was 15, but it's 15.
But there'll be more than that there.
Any other comments from the board? Hearing none, I call for adjournment. Oh wait, I'm sorry, second public comment, I need to do that. Yes.
Public comment, just line up?
Yes.
Yeah, one, just line up to make it quicker.
Julie Thomas, Wonder Lake. I pretty much made a statement about the buses. But first of all, who here was the driver who spoke tonight?
I believe he was talking at another meeting.
All right. Well, let me tell you what Mchenry Township buses do. A couple weeks ago, when it was pouring rain outside, the bus driver was standing at my door with an umbrella to help me to the bus. Some days I can use my walker and use the stairs, or my cane. Other days I have to use my walker. And they are very on key to make sure they have that lift ready. Today, when I was riding Mcride, they looked at me at the door like, oh, you want to use the lift? And I had my walker. They had no intention of helping me up the stairs or anything. So Mcride doesn't get off their butt for much. And I'm not knocking them, but they have a lot of work to do. They work 10 times harder. Now, about 200 people who ride the bus. There may only be 200 of us riding the bus, but there's thousands that support us. That is a big difference because we are a community of caring people. Now, I've been at every meeting since June, and I have never heard anybody ask Mr. Adams to come up with alternatives or anything like that. I sit here, I sit in the front row. I'm very good hearing, that's the only thing that still works on me. Unfortunately, I'm only 55 years old. I didn't plan to be riding buses at 55. I was going to be working until 80. But all of a sudden, one day, my body quit on me at 53. Just remember that, guys. You never know when it might happen.
Wonder Lake. I hear you talk about how many people can show up, and that you guys have all the support. That you had so many votes in the election, and you had all of this. Tell you what, you can get just as many people to show up to the special meeting and vote the way you want. Organize your people. Come on, let's meet it head on. We'll meet with votes, and we'll see who wins. Let's see who comes out on top. Where are all these people that support it? They haven't been at these meetings. They haven't been at any of the special meetings that you guys have called. They haven't been at any of the special meetings that the electors have called. They're nowhere. They're invisible, non-existent. Bring them to this meeting and let's see which votes win. That's that simple. That's how democracy works, right? And for somebody who it gets so offended by a simple, did you enjoy your nap comment there, Mr. Veer, you seem to throw a lot of insults at other people.
Like
That's a lot of, I thought you didn't answer people. Anyway, so, you seem to throw a lot of insults at other people. You don't have much of a thick skin, I'm guessing, but that's okay. When it all comes down to it, what we have here is a lot of people that have shown up and put in a lot of effort and have tried to convince you all that this is not the way forward. But, and as you said, we've got the advisory referendum. We don't have to listen to the people. That's exactly what you said today, essentially. The advisory referendum, we don't have to listen to it. We can still do whatever we want.
Right.
That sounds exactly like what I want from an elected official, doesn't it?
Angry mob, get pitchforks.
Linda Toller, Wonder Lake. It actually totally upsets me that I think you're going to come up here and talk again. I hate talking in public. Mr. Beard, you talk personal attacks, yet you don't seem to understand that you have personally attacked every person who has tried to speak to you about the decision to eliminate the bus program. You personally attacked them by making faces of disbelief and mocking body language as these people pour their hearts out to you. You hide behind the reason to disband the bus that has been proven wrong to you time and time again. You would leave people behind because they don't fit into your perfect plan. You, Mr. Anderson, and Mr. Rakestraw have shown that you have no empathy, no sympathy, no basic human decency when you see that your actions cause pain and distress in others. I honestly hope that you really just don't care, because the alternative is that the majority of the board are megalomaniacal sadists. You are causing so much pain and distress to those you are meant to serve. And I'm not sure you have any other reason at this point than foolish pride and an inability to admit that you were wrong. I really hope that I'm wrong, but you're proving me right with every special meeting you call. Just keep in mind, you're 3 men. We're hundreds.
Are we getting 3 minutes or 5 minutes at this meeting, Mr. Evans?
3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay. I'll do as fast as I can. Each trustee up here took an oath of office to uphold the state of Illinois Township Code, which I recommend everybody read, please, especially our lawyers, so that you know what they're talking about when they ask you questions at these meetings, so you can actually call them out when they're wrong on things. Anyways, per section 220-20 of that code, the purpose of the senior citizen services, which are dictated for the township, include decreasing the sense of isolation, enriching the social and intellectual life of older adults, helping older adults meet practical needs such as health, diet, adjustment to circumstances, changes in finances, helping older adults contribute to community well-being as effective and useful citizens, and to help persons planning for retirement. Okay? Just paraphrase a little bit, but that's basically what it's in there. Amidst the falsehoods promoted on social media, which, by the way, if anyone goes to these Facebook pages of these trustees, complete lies, and you can't even post against them except in the comments, and there's hundreds of comments telling them that they are wrong. Amidst these falsehoods promoted on social media was discussed that most bus trips are not used for doctor's appointments. Oh my gosh. Per the code, that is not even a listed purpose for the senior services. Even the state of Illinois sees the benefits of transportation being easily accessible to seniors. By eliminating the senior bus service, you are in violation of your oath. Per section 5537, every township officer who is guilty of a palpable omission of duty may be found guilty of a business offense. The court in which the conviction occurs shall enter an order removing the convicted officer from office. I know this may be a stretch, but while you have your project of eliminating the township government, the oldest form of government that also happens to be lauded by our founding fathers, just a reminder, my project will be to eliminate you from the township board. Or you really could just resign. I wish you would choose the latter. You see, hopefully, when this township votes to not be eliminated, you may continue to dismantle it, but we will work to oust you from office and then work to rebuild the great township that we once had. You know, it actually may end up costing more than just maintaining what we do have. Time will tell. I guess the only two certainties in life are death and taxes. That's what I had written, and now I'm going to school you guys on democracy, okay? 200 people can present a petition. 5,000 people are needed for people to get on ballot to be president of the United States. But those 5,000 people don't dictate who wins. They just get to be put on the ballot. Bring your 6,000 people that voted for you, which by the way was only because you guys were the top 2 names on the ballot. Just remember that. You take that out, you do alphabetical order, you take out the Republican after your name too, probably, and you would not be sitting there. And let's all remember too that Mr. Bear was not elected. He lost an election to an independent, okay? So just please remember your civics classes. You guys are lawyers, for Christ's sake. At least some of you are, okay? Democracy.
Marianne Piker, Johnsburg, Illinois. I would just like to comment on the fact that you guys voted to eliminate the bus service, and you're pressing Mr. Adams now to come up with alternatives.
Yes.
He's in favor of keeping it. When you voted to abolish the service, you said it was a duplication of services that already exist. I was at the special meeting and I was at the last board meeting about 3 days after that, where you guys talked about, you've voted and stuck with your opinions to stop the service, but all those testimonials showed, and the seniors program cannot, they have their person that runs it say they can't take on the workload, the 12,000 rides that were done last year. They're not equipped for it. This service is totally unique. And it is needed, and I think that's been proven, and you've heard so many testimonials. I don't think any more work needs to be done. You guys should have done your homework before you decided to eliminate it. I have one more question. The insurance came up a couple times before. You guys have PACE lease on there, and what is the possibility that the insurance, because there was a big deal made about how small the insurance bill was, and maybe it's not, we had to put insurance, and why are we running this program, but then they had to put insurance. What are the chances that that insurance is covered through PACE, through the lease? I would think that probably is a possibility. I'm done.
Cindy Jacob, Johnsburg. I started coming here when we first initially started about eliminating the bus service, as I have a senior adult parent who relies on that bus to do her daily living chores that she needs to handle. I don't know if you noticed, but I came in late this evening to this meeting because I am a local realtor. And I was out showing homes. But you know what? I wasn't in Mchenry County. I wasn't in Mchenry Township. I was showing homes in Lake County. I asked, why are we not looking in Mchenry County? That's where your parents live. That's where you grew up. Yeah, there's too much political crap going on is what they said. And we don't want to be a part of it. We want to go to a town that's already living by what their goals are, not like McHenry. So I think we need to get our heads out of our butts, come up with some decisions, some evidence, some proof of what we're going to do, proof to show us that this is a good solution, and nothing's been done. Show us your plan for the future. What's going to happen? The county doesn't want our roads. It's going to cost us more money. Everyone in this room is willing to pay their $10. Who's going to pay the surplus when we go to the county and it's going to cost us more? We have so many homes in this county that are for sale. We don't have that many buyers looking in McHenry County right now. Sorry, that's the facts. So, that's all I have.
I didn't really want to do this, but this might be my only
You need to give your name here.
opportunity.
You need to give your name.
Joe Story of McHenry.
Thank you.
When I first came, 2 meetings before was the first time I had attended on the township buses. And I had not been aware of it. I don't get the paper and I'm busy with life. And when I discovered that the services, township bus services were going to be eliminated, I discovered it by a dear woman who comes to our church from the villa. She is disabled in a wheelchair, cannot walk. And she came to my husband and I sobbing that the township was going to eliminate the services in November, only to find out that they cut it early on Sundays, because she was using the township bus service to get to and from church, not just her, but a few others from the villa who are not disabled, but it was very convenient for them to be all picked up. When that was cut, she had to go to McBride, and they had done the best that they could to accommodate her with her wheelchair, but they cannot get her to church on time because it's their schedule, not hers. And that riled me up. So that's why I came to the last meeting and wanted to talk, brought a t-shirt, just $10. And I wanted to stand up and say, hey, I just bought a t-shirt for $10, and that's what it costs us all year, or just to help some of those who cannot help themselves. To me, it was a no-brainer. And ever since I've been observing and coming to meetings that have been called, I don't want to feel like it's an attack on people, and it's not. I am seeing those who are affected so negatively, who are dependent on the township bus services daily to get to the services here at the township. It's not just rides, it's their whole life. They come here 5 days a week, some of them, for services, and then would like to have that same bus service on the weekend to get to the doctor or just to church, because the PACE bus doesn't get them there on time, and the township always did. And not just the time, but they came to the door to help my friend Laura, who needed assistance to go from the villa onto the bus. So anyway, I am speaking just because there are so many with Meals on Wheels that my husband does. So many come to the township, and we're devastated to find that in November they will not be able to have the same services, compassionate services, that they have been afforded to up till now. PACE serves a purpose, but it doesn't serve us. Thank you.
Okay, that's, or anybody else? Okay. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Anderson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? No, I mean, how the meeting is adjourned.
You're not yet even going through, right?
Yes, yeah, nice to meet you in person.
What?
When you are church, that's a gift. But this is not a gift. You are going into that person's real forcing them to pay a bill. Plus, let me ask you this. Allows doesn't you know what? No, I do not. I'm saying, I pay for education and for buses for those kids. Because I want those kids to have good education. I want those kids to be able to see bus, get everything. Go to your okay, do it every day. I say, I want you to go to more than I wish my brother would want to pay for inflation.
That's an old, sad argument. Okay. If I don't need it, why should I pay for it?
Yeah, well.
If I don't need it, why should I pay for it?
Yeah, this is whistling.
God, I'm so tired.
You heard me.
Always a liar.
Steve, you come up with things you never have any backing for.
West Point bounce down
No,
for
Even though he's like, I told you if I don't turn it, so you're like, I missed every meeting since
know what? It's up there in the microphone.
And so I depend on the board, that's why I'm like, I need our. To stand there and say, if I don't, I can use it, why should maybe, and use that board.
Mike, you're being nice to me, what you did.
What?
And I also questioned my scripture. And I told him, I know scripture. It's like, at one time I thought like, I know my scriptures. Don't try to fool me.
That is just county board.
I was expecting her to say something.
Well, yeah, not like that. Who paid Mike's mother? His mother. Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, I almost threw that at him, but.
They're paid, doesn't matter, you know, those are glass houses, right, so they're paid now, you know, it's fine.
The timing should matter, because if he was in arrears at the time of the meeting.
But it doesn't though, according to the code, it doesn't. Yeah.
But Dodge was,
It was some fund. Yes. No, unless he wasn't arrears. If the check was signed by his
He
mother.
brought that up, talking about paying, you know, everybody's paying taxes. And I'm
Check that was submitted to the county was gone.
and then I started going after
But anyways, I was gonna say,
like,
I
you come
actually
here with no evidence about anything. You
video
start
of
walking away.
it.
What? You walk away from somebody who challenges you?
But it talks about it, and he's talking about like what he wants and everything like that, and he flat out says, it has nothing to do about taxes, all it has to do with is reducing the size of cost. And I'm like, I'm for that. I totally agree that there's like duplications and everything, but this is not a duplication. It's not, and the user can't stand on it, and when they tell people, it'll reduce your taxes. No, it won't. No, it won't. I mean, common sense makes you know. Well, no, but it's
Farther away, it's on the services.
honestly, the county should get rid of it, and we should take it over, because we run it for cheaper than the county does. Yeah. You know what road you're on.
Empathy. This little fake empathy.
With the road district, was fake line of question. I had this is what I heard someone talking about. Road district does. You know, they get out there.
No, you should say, this isn't Donahue.
Yeah, that's it.
Donahue. See that next time.
Yeah.
See if he bites. Because you know what? I'm just saying, you know what?
What's your recourse if they knock down your window?
We show you facts. We show you physics. We show you studies. We give you eyewitness, tearful eyewitness testimony of how this affects you and how this is affecting our township. But just like the Holocaust, there are people who deny it and won't listen to it. And I want to see it. And because you know what? I dressed up after the way he did tonight.